Additions
In progress.
or deletions, changes? Okay. Call for the vote, please.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item number 4, presentation, Southeast Sewer Expansion Project Update, pages 9 to 32. Whoever's doing this, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. So you got a preview because Mr. Davis came to the podium a few moments ago. So Mr. Davis, Utilities Director.
Davis also told me we shouldn't need any more than 30 minutes for this meeting.
Yes, sir. I will keep my promise.
So
ACA
sound the gong at 7:32.
Yeah, ACA Thomas has already threatened me.
Okay.
Well, I hope I can see the president. Will I be able to see the presentation or should I flip through mine? Is that? Okay. All right. So thank you all for having us. This is Bill Davis, our Richland County Utility Director. And I wanted to give you an update on our project, and I wanted to kind of go through what would be perceived as the next steps for our Southeast Sewer Project. I'm only talking about sewer tonight. I would like to have another venue to talk about water in the near future. Go to the agenda. If you look on your page, I'm not sure what page that is, the agenda. Let me look at my pages here. Sorry, give me a second to get oriented.
Right here, we start on page 9 with this.
Okay, so 9, the agenda would be, I'm getting to the same pages with you guys now. Okay. All right. So the agenda, I'm not going to go through each of those items. I'm going to talk about the next page where it says where our sewer systems are now. If you would flip to that page, I'd like to draw your attention to the areas in pink, which would be at the north and south end of the county, or the northwest and southeast is the service areas that are provided by Richland County Utilities. The other utilities such as East Richland that we mentioned earlier, City of Columbia in the maroon, and some of these other providers are in the middle of us, and we're about an hour apart from our facilities. And that creates a significant challenge for our staff. So that's something that we're working with right now to get staff oriented to be working in the Southeast so that we can respond quickly. So if you go to the next page, you'll see the Southeast Water and Sewer Phase 1 update was approved by Council in 2018 and awarded in 4 divisions in 2020. I know some of you are new, so I know this is a repeat for some of you, but I wanted to kind of give a little bit of history as to how we got where we are today. The Southeast Phase 1, as approved, if you go to the next page, is a little bit of a blow up that kind of shows the water and sewer infrastructure that was added. The approximate cost for all these projects was about $24 million. And that when you go to 25, when you count the purchase of the transfer area, which was from the City of Columbia, which if you look at this map is in the top northwest corner of the map, is about 1,400 customers that were transferred to Richland County from the City of Columbia. And the network of about 20 miles of pipe from that Garner's Ferry, Lower Richland Road area down to the wastewater treatment plant was put in as part of this project for Phase 1. We have referred to it as the backbone of the system, and there's a reason for that. The backbone is the part that holds the entire structure of your body up, and that's what we've done here with Phase 1, is create the backbone of the future system. So if you flip to the next page, you'll see an image that has a lot of the pump stations that were added. We added 8 pump stations with this project. We upgraded some pump stations and actually have one pump station, which is the Gadsden lift station, which if you look in the bottom of your page, you'll see that's the largest pump station that we have. All of the other pump stations in the project feed to the Gadsden pump station. So it's kind of a one pump station to another pump station, and then from the Gadsden pump station to the wastewater treatment plant for treatment before it goes to the river. So that's going to get you oriented. Now we're going to go a little bit further into this phase. So talking a little bit about where we are with completion. So if you flip to the Division 1, which would be on your next page, Tom Brigman Company did Division 1. And Division 1 was basically the larger pump station, the Garner's Ferry Road pump station, which I know everybody saw a lot of willingness to serve letters in the last meeting. And those were primarily going to the Garners Ferry Road pump station. The McIntyre Air Force Base was also part of this project. And the backbone of the system was in between those stations. There are several individual water and sewer connections with each project. One of them, this one particularly, has 5 water customers and 5 sewer customers, which would be individual connections. Are we able to get it up there? You want me to wait? Okay, there it is. Yeah, that's better. That'll be easier. All right, so as you see that, if you go to the next page, we'll go to Division 2. And if you have any questions, y'all feel free to interrupt me. I'm used to it. So Division 2 was also Tom Brigman. This was the part that connected the Air Force Base to the wastewater treatment plant. And as part of that, we did upgrade with a change order that was approved by council. We were able to upgrade the wastewater treatment plant from 0.75 million gallons a day to 1.2 million gallons a day, which gets us all of the flow that we needed coming from phase 1. So the Gadsden Elementary School, again, I've mentioned this is the largest station that we have in the system. And the backbone, again, was constructed and it's in operation. We do have several individual customer connections that will need to be completed prior to this project being closed out. That's 7 water customers and 7 sewer customers. And when I say individual, I mean like single houses. The next page, you'll see TCO is about 98% complete. The only thing left for them is to connect. You did approve as council the sewer connection for our Hopkins tank area. And that is the only thing that remains uncompleted at this time. The other pump stations, this is where primarily all of the schools were completed by the Division 3, which would be the Hopkins Park pump station, the Hopkins Elementary, Hopkins Middle School, and the Franklin Park area, which we were previously serving sewer to, but now that lagoon system can be closed out and we are connected to them now as we speak. So all those customers are coming to the county now. So next page. So Division 4 is the only one that we have a little bit of work left to do. We still need to connect the Quail Creek pump station, other stations, Lower Richland High School, which includes all of the facilities at the corner of Garners Ferry Road and Lower Richland Boulevard, as well as Horrell Hill Elementary School and Southeast Middle School, which are further up the road in the Horrell Hill area. The City of Columbia transfer area is mostly switched over to our system now. The Green Lake pump station is one that has become a bit of a problem. As you know, from back in 2016, there was no capacity assurance program, which I know y'all get tired of hearing me say capacity assurance program, but there's a reason for it. It's like if you just keep writing checks and you don't have a checkbook, well, we have a checkbook. And when we check the checkbook, the Green Lakes pump station can't go to this project. We were able to determine that pump station was significantly oversized and is not able to feed into our system at this time. So we are going to have to remain on the City of Columbia system for some time until the next phases are completed in the project. Everything else is finished except for the connection to Quail Creek, connection to Green Lake, and the 10 sewer customers that need to be connected. Everything else is ready to go. Next page. So school districts, as part of this project, I know everybody's heard about it on the news or seen it on the news, but we were to close out the existing lagoon systems that were failing and causing a lot of odor issues and damages downstream with pollution. And so we were able to close those out. The school district, I know there was a recent council move to ask for more money, but we got $500,000 extra for these closeouts, and the school has agreed to contribute more money if money's needed, which we'll show in the next few slides. If you flip to the next one, please. So Gadsden Elementary School, if you see that yellow arrow, there's a large lagoon system that has been closed. Now it's got to be decommissioned and closed out in a DHEC approved manner. And the anticipated cost is about $673,000, which would be recuperated and refunded by the school district. Next, please. The Hopkins Middle School lagoon is a lot smaller and it's found on the corner where that yellow arrow is. And that station has also been closed, that treatment plant has also been closed. And now we are trying to go through the process of getting documents together on how to completely close it out in a DHEC approved manner for $241,000. Next. And the last one is a package plant, and a package plant is basically like what I would call like a black box where you hook up the sewer coming in and you hook up the sewer going out and everything in between is a metal box. That's kind of what this is, where the yellow arrow is. And we're going to just basically dismantle that and dispose of it, and so that we can recapture that area for the school district. And that would be $78,000. And the total is about $1 million for these three, because I know Mr. Malinowski is already running the numbers in his head. So we've got that already calculated. We have 1.2 dedicated, but we believe we're going to be probably using every bit of that when we get a bid in. So next. This is kind of a new twist. We are working on a memorandum of understanding amendment with the McEntire Air Force Base. They were originally going to close their wastewater treatment plant out, but they've asked us to do that for them, and they would reimburse us for engineering and construction costs in association with the other construction that was done at the McEntire wastewater facility. So that is already connected to us, and we do have capacity for the future of McEntire in place, and we're ready to go with that already. So we have a new metering system, and those things will be brought to council once we do. There's an economy of scale with doing the addition of the McEntire, because we're already doing 3. And if we bid a project out with 4 of the same thing, we get a kind of a savings for having that economy of scale. So that's what we'll be bringing back to council when we get that bid out. We do have documents that are about ready to go out, and they should be going out in the near future for bids. Okay, next. Yes, sir.
Quick question. You said McNair will reimburse us for engineering and construction. Is there something else in the cost that we're not being reimbursed for?
No, sir. Everything's being reimbursed. Everything associated with the connection of the McEntire Air Force Base was previously under the memorandum of understanding covered by McEntire. Yeah. They've been very cooperative and very fun to work with, actually. Current needs, this is kind of where we're coming into. When we went from 0.75 to 1.2 million, if you can imagine going from almost like a 7 times factor of how much flow we're getting at that treatment plant. We currently have mechanisms for feeding chemicals and water, but those things are grossly undersized when you start talking about 7 times the amount of flow. So we will have to have, I'll talk about biosolids in a second, but we will have to have some additional water, some chemical feed, and some disinfection that will be of a bigger magnitude than we have now. So those projects will be determined here in the near future. We are getting documents together for all of those things that we'll be bringing to council for approval. And the biosolids, I don't want to assume everybody knows what that is, but if you're taking water into a wastewater treatment plant from your house and the system, it goes into the wastewater treatment plant in one stream and it goes out in 2 different streams. You go out to the river with clean water, and you go to a sludge handling facility, which is the solids part, the dirty part. That's the part I like. That's why I like wastewater a lot. So you get the dirty part, you get rid of that, and we basically solidify it into like a Play-Doh. I don't want to get too detailed because I know some people may have not eaten yet, but we get to a Play-Doh-like substance, and that substance either goes somewhere for a land application or to a landfill. And in our case, we actually go to a treatment plant currently, but we will, with this interim plan, be going to the landfill after we bring this belt press on site and add that to our facility. We don't have that currently, and we need that solids handling facility. So we also need a storage. We don't have potable water at the wastewater treatment plant, which is very hard to manage a treatment plant when you don't have potable water. We just have an irrigation well, and we need to have clean water. So when I say clean water, drinking type water, so that we can have a lab at Eastover, so that we're not wasting half our day going from the Broad River wastewater treatment plant all the way down to the Eastover wastewater treatment plant to pick up a sample and going all the way back to Broad River and killing half the day. We can just treat it. We can sample it and test it on site if we have our own lab at the Eastover plant. And that's the intent. And then also to have that drinking water capability for our staff it's definitely needed. And then the last thing is with the onset of this new, we've added about 20% to our infrastructure. And with that 20% increase, and it's an hour away from our other storage facility, we need to have some mechanism for storing parts and pieces and a couple of offices for our maintenance staff to be down there at full time. So that's also being planned. So next slide. So getting down to capacity in the phase one, this is the big part right here, the takeaway. So the Garners Ferry, I'm going to go, can we go to the next slide? Let's see what the next slide is. Yeah, okay. All right, so I came up with a nice little illustration that I think kind of explains it. So there's the red light, green light, yellow light thing, and I'll explain that really quickly. So green light means that those customers are already in existence. We are already serving the customers that are allocated in that green light section. The yellow light is the customers that have been approved through our capacity assurance program, the ones we did on the willingness to serve letters. So those have already been allocated and dedicated for future customer base. The red would be what's left after those two have been used. When red gets to 0, that means we don't have any more capacity. So if you look at the two red light boxes on the left, one of them is Franklin Park, it's circled down there. The other is Garners Ferry Road at the transfer area. Those both feed to that middle street light, which is the Gadsden pump station. And as you see, I don't know if you recognize that picture that's up there, but that's Malfunction Junction. So that would be equivalent to our Malfunction Junction at 5 o'clock, or even anywhere close to 5 o'clock. So we're bottlenecked at the Gadsden pump station. And we're also at the treatment plant. If you look at our allocated flow in the yellow, we've got 2% remaining at the wastewater treatment plant. And that means the treatment plant is pretty close to being full. And we need to go to the next phase, which I'll talk about if we go to the next slide. All right, so with the projects that are needed in phase 2 and 3. So phase 2 is the additional line work that would add capacity to the system, and mostly in District 10 and a little bit in the Garners Ferry Road South in District 11. And the capacity would be added to those two areas. I've been working in this, and I promise I'll only tell one story. This is going to be my only story. So I've been working in this area for about 20 years as a consultant in Richland County. I worked as a private consultant trying to build projects over there with lots of difficulty. The people in this area are underserved, and I'm your utility director, and my mission is to provide sewer services to the underserved people in the unincorporated areas of Richland County. That's my mission. And so as part of my ordinance, that's what I'm trying to do. And as I look at this, and I was at the city, and I tried to do the best I could for the people in this area. I couldn't get any projects through because there was no capacity. I came to Richland County, and we're in the middle of building this project that I've been working on for like 20 years on and off in this area. I actually worked on the agreement to get the assets transferred over to the county while I was at the city. And it's kind of a Cinderella story. So I look at it like Cinderella wants to go to the ball, and these people in this area are underserved and underprivileged in this capacity. Like, they don't have the stores like everybody else. They don't have the doctor's offices, the grocery stores. They don't have that common stuff that we see in a lot of places in our county. And we are probably the most underserved part of Richland County in this area. And so as I see that Cinderella story unfold, what we actually have here is we've written chapter 1. In chapter 1, she's got the dress and she's got the makeup, but now she needs the carriage to carry her to the ball so she can meet the prince, right? So we need to write chapter 2 and 3, phase 2 and phase 3, so that we can complete the story and she can meet the prince. So we really want to get to the end game. And I think that's why we started this. And I think that's where we want to go as a county. And so I guess if we look, this is the map that was approved back in 2018. We're in a little different format, but in the areas that are being served, it is very similar to what was approved. Phase 2 and phase 3 closely align themselves to the service areas. that we had talked about back in 2018. So if you flip one more slide. I'm almost there, y'all. All right, so here's the projects. So we've been working with Councilwoman English to create a concept plan on how this could be done. And the concept plan aligns itself back to 2016, where we always have been wanting to go. And so it's really closely in line. We've retained an engineer, AECOM, and AECOM is working on,
Call for the vote, please, on adjournment.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Hugh,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and all of staff for helping out here.